What's up, everyone? Andrew Lawyer with Dirt Rider here, and we have a 2022 Kawasaki KX250 project bike built by none other than Jay Clark. Jay, tell us about this bike, man.
So we've liked the KX250. It's kind of stuck in a few spots. The stock suspension's a bit stiff, even for guys like my size. The stock suspension's a bit stiff. We worked with Schmidt last year on our 21, which is basically the same exact bike, and he got it a lot better. So we even changed some more settings for this year. So we have some different settings in here that are a little softer, more plush on the suspension. That's what we wanted to address right away. And then so while we were messing with that, we kept the engine mods real simple, just with a high compression piston, no mods porting or any of that stuff. And then we have a Vortex ECU from Jamie at Twisted, so we have that on here. ICW modified the radiators to make them stronger in the event of a crash, so you don't have to run any braces. And kind of kept those as with an FMF pipe, of course, as the main mods. And then as far as the clutch, got a Henson plates in there, and they're stiffer springs. We got the plates and springs, a lot stronger than stock, more durable. And got an with the FMF, it's just a stainless system with a aluminum muffler, which is more cost effective. And this one's actually refurbished from last year. Deep down in there, you can see a few little scratches in there. And so got it cleaned up for this year. Stuff's a little harder to find, so we've been cleaning up some other stuff to make it look good.
Absolutely. And then chains, sprockets, and controls, right?
Oh yeah, so we got the CFT ODI bars, the champ bin, and I used to only run crossbar style bars, and I've been running these a little bit more, and I'm noticing they do flex more than the older style bars, big bars from other companies. And so been liking that, and I kind of like the crossbar up here. So I've been playing with this a little bit more, and I'm liking that. And for grips, new from Motion Pro are lock-on grips, and these are made by ODI, so no big secret there. Their logo's right there, but it's got the Motion Pro kind of material and feel to them, and so I'm really liking those grips, and working with ODI and Motion Pro is kind of cool as well. So we got that set up there, and then Pro X chain and sprocket. We've got their X-ring chain, and rear and front sprocket on here, and we got that mounted up on the stock wheels. The bike was pretty new, so the stock wheels still look good. So we got the MX12 on the rear, so you'll have fun here at Kuya in this kind of more sandy conditions, and then MX33 up front on this thing to really grab well in all kinds of terrain out here. And we have our Raptor foot pegs, which are good titanium foot pegs, really nice and sharp and give you a good footprint on the bike, and got some good works connection little bits. So the rotating bar mounts, that helps in the case of a crash. These bits will spin a little bit more, instead of maybe bending a lever or breaking a lever off.
Absolutely. And then a works connection hole shot device, just in case you encounter any dirt starts, right?
Yeah, in case I decide I want to go race, right? But yeah, so the Pro launch device on these, from Kawasaki, that works connection makes for these bikes, most of the top teams are running this Pro launch device because it's a lot simpler, lighter, simple system. And that's one of the things that a lot of the teams like about that. Team Honda runs them, the Star guys. A lot of those teams are running that launch device, so it works really well. I don't race enough to matter, so I just run it once in a while, and it definitely look cool for sure.
Absolutely. Definitely adds, as you said, to the look of the bike. And a uni filter too, correct?
Of course. Got our 2-stage uni filter. We still have the backfire screen in here. Haven't come up with a good Sano way to modify this one, and there's not a 2-stroke cage. That's something we'll probably mess with in the future.
Sounds great, man. Well, I am a huge fan of Kawasaki's KX450, and this bike, as you mentioned earlier, definitely has a lot of potential in stock form, so I'm looking forward to seeing how all these mods add up.
Yeah, the bike runs pretty good. The stock muffler is pretty raspy. It's not that it's just loud, but it kind of hurts your ears. And so the FMF on there kind of gives it a better tone, and doesn't hurt your head as you're riding. So that's a nice sound right away, you'll notice.
Absolutely, man. Well, I can leave the earplugs at the truck, and I'm looking forward to riding this thing. We'll go spin some laps on it and get back to you guys a little later. right, so we just finished up a ride on Jay Clark's Kawasaki KX250, and all in all, the changes he made to it were improvements. The engine, I would say, is still like the standard Kawasaki KX250 power plant where you really have to rev the heck out of it to get the most out of it. It's a really high revving engine and it just pulls forever. So that character was retained, but I found myself mostly in second and third gear. I was really able to stretch out second gear, but at the same time, in some of the wider, little more flowing corners, I was able to pull third just with a little bit of clutch work, but nothing too crazy as far as clutch abuse. So that was impressive. As far as the suspension, the fork was definitely better than stock. Schmidt, going through it, it just had a softer, plusher overall feel, whereas stock, it's a little stiff and harsh feeling. So that was definitely an improvement. Didn't make a whole lot of changes to that, just kind of set it and forget it. So suspension was great. Chassis-wise, the KX250 is just so awesome right out of the box. It's really stable, but it still corners pretty darn well too. And ergonomics on this bike are awesome. Jay kind of retained mostly the stock ergos, which, like I said, is great because the stock ergos are so agreeable. So anyway, overall, this was definitely a fun project to test. And in our shootout, this bike didn't fare the best, but I think this proves that with some minor modifications, like a suspension revalve and just perhaps like an ECU and some tuning to it, this bike can be made a lot better and be very competitive for a broader range of riders. So all in all, had a lot of fun on it, was very impressed with it, and we're looking forward to the next one. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching this video on the Dirt Rider YouTube channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't done so already, check out the full story on dirtrider.com.